Good morning. Another beautiful morning, another day above ground. Um, amen. So I don't know how people are going to digest that video I made last night explaining what's been going on with me. But what I would say is, it is what it is, like everything else. Don't make a big deal about it. People come, people go. You reap what you sow. And the news really, overall, I was surprised to hear. I think, you always think the worst. I always assume the worst. I figured for sure I had issues with arterial occlusion, and I had some blockages and things, and that they were going to end up putting a stent in there. What they would do is when they went in and did the examination, if they find occlusions, they'll repair them up to 3 stents. Now, if you need more than 3, then you're going to have bypass surgery. So I'm thinking, good, wonder what they're going to find in me, all the stuff I've done. But much to my surprise, I have, like for instance, I have what they call athlete's heart, that my heart's slightly enlarged. Slightly enlarged. It's not like, this huge thing. Yeah, it's slightly enlarged. That's what I was told. And that's not the same as cardiomyopathy. Athlete's heart and cardiomyopathy are often difficult to draw a distinction between, but in my case, my heart's only slightly enlarged. It's pretty obvious. All athletes are going to have this. Runners in particular, for whatever reason, though I'm not a runner, but I have engaged in a lot of cardiovascular type of endurance training, especially when I used to fight. Of course, that was so long ago. And from what I've been told, your heart can also rebound back, and it will come back down in size if whatever the provocateur has been, if that's eliminated. In different cases for different things. So, an enlarged heart in and of itself doesn't necessarily mean that it's a huge, early death, sentence. But the cardiomyopathy, where the infraction, or whatever they call it, what the hell is that? Where the heart can't, it doesn't put out what it's supposed to put out volume-wise when it pumps, when it beats, because the left side is, the walls are so thick that the heart gets hard, and it's not flexible and pliant as it should be, and it can't function very well. It has a difficult time squeezing and doing the things it's supposed to do to pump blood. Layman's way of putting it. Yeah, I could pull out, information. Everybody has a computer, and I've read it, and I could just regurgitate, word for word, verbatim, how it's written in the technical jargon and shit. But you get the point, and that's what you need to know. So, lifting weights and working out, if you do it all your life, you may have a slightly larger heart in the end, but it's not anything that's really going to, in and of itself, indicate a problem. It's just an effect. It's a muscle like anything else. Now, as far as the blockages and stuff, when they said, I don't have any plaque, like you have no detectable plaque except in one instance in one location, and he said if he called it 10% buildup, that was being, generous in favor of the extent of the buildup. Now that really surprised me, so that leads me to believe it's not like I don't think, I don't know how fast the body can regenerate itself. How fast can the body repair and heal itself? I mean, I see it happen here and here all my life, but how fast can it really? And I see it happen with his artery that they laid open. Looks like it's almost gone to me, but there's still bruising, surface bruising in the arteries. Basically looks healed over. I have a bandage on it right now. Of course, I'm still paranoid to even go to the gym because I don't want to prematurely put any strain on it, Anyhow, how fast can the body regenerate itself and repair itself? So initially, for many years, I didn't really I thought I was giving diet a lot of attention once I learned what nutrition was and what I needed to do to get big. But it stopped there. My pursuit for that was so all-consuming, basically, at one point, that I didn't consider micronutrients. You know, that was later on. Of course, I consider hugely now, and for years I have. But prior to that, not really. Didn't give it much thought. I just thought everything was protein, 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 protein. Yeah, you need carbohydrates to keep your fats down, but I was naturally skinny, ectomorphic, so it was difficult for me to gain body fat anyway. So for me, it was calories and protein when I was trying to get big, when I was skinny, and as I, grew. But I'm going to tell you, I never really looked at sodium, and I never really looked at cholesterol. I'm not a person that added salt to things, but I didn't really count sodium. I didn't even really pay much mind to it. I have later on, but this is initially for quite a few years I didn't. And I definitely didn't give cholesterol a second glance. I didn't look at how much cholesterol was in the things that I ate every day. I didn't pay any mind to that initially. I'm not going to bullshit you. All that meat and everything else I ate. Now, back in my day, when I was young, there was no internet. You didn't have easy access to information. And a lot of us ate a lot of meat and a lot of beef and a lot of stuff like this because we were told that's the way to go. And the only research you were really the average person was going to be able to do was stuff in the library. Half the time you'd have to order these books, old card catalog, and go through all this stuff to find any books. You're lucky to find a few books, and there wasn't really a lot of good information just readily available at your fingertips like it is today. It's very easy today for people to scold and say, hey, you shouldn't have done this, or you shouldn't have done that. Well, yeah, maybe, no shit. But you know what? It is what it did. And on the one hand, at the time, it served my purposes very well. And it was delicious, too. But, yeah, knowing what we know today, and when I say today, I'm talking, look, I've been doing this for over 30 years, so the first 10 years I did this shit. I didn't pay much mind to these things. It wasn't like in my face like it is today to people, So anyhow, it was really a surprise to me to find out I didn't have any plaque. So I've got to give credit to genetics. I got to say, there must be a huge genetic component, or either you're going to have clogged arteries or not. It's got to be a huge genetic component, like we're finding out most other things. There's a huge genetic component involved here. There's got to be, because it's not for lack of trying to build plaque. I mean, I'm not purposely trying, but I ate enough, I'm sure, high cholesterol shit. And I ate so much red meat, I dare say that it would be hard to find somebody that ate more at one time. I was probably right there alongside any of the other huge meat eaters, on a daily basis. That's the way I was brought up. And, But, so I've got to say there has to be a huge genetic component. So that's just luck of the draw. And then the other way I look at it, I can't ignore, is that for the past quite a few years, literally for the past, 5 or 6 years, I've been much more conscious about taking in more plant-based nutrition. And I know that this stuff is like voodoo science and things to a lot of you guys out there that are huge meat eaters like I was. And you're thinking, oh God, here we go, we're going to talk about plant-based nutrition and that's the only way to eat and etc. I'm not telling you that. What I'm telling you is I can't discount it any more than I can discount the genetic component. How do I not have all this plaque built up like you would expect to find? Well, the only two things I can think of are genetics. And once I started to pay attention to my diet, I've heard testimonies from people that plant-based nutrition, a really healthy, good, solid plant-based diet, can help clear and diminish plaque buildup, can clear away plaque. This is what I've heard from multiple sources years ago. I'm not going to say years. When I'm saying years, I'm talking about the past 5 years, past 3 years. Now it's actually been, I keep saying it's 2 years. It's been a whole year. I keep saying it's 2 years. So it's actually closer to 3 years now that I don't eat red meat. Um, but the only other thing I could attribute any of it to is my supplementation with L-arginine. I use a lot of L-arginine. I take it for multiple reasons. I use probably between 6 and 9 grams daily pre-workout. And now I'm seriously considering, I'm not really working out. I haven't worked out for for a couple of weeks now, right? Yeah, Sunday I was at Retro this past Sunday. I didn't work out. I just hung around and, talked to people, talked to my friends. So I'm thinking about I might even start to add in the L-arginine in the morning, lower dose, maybe like 5 grams in the morning. And then on workout training days, I'll still have my pre-workout with 6 to 9-ish, 10 grams of L-arginine. That way I'll still have some daily, even on the days that I'm not training. On the days that I train, I'll have a little more. Because I really think that somewhere in there lies some kind of truth and benefit, a realized benefit. Because I know how I ate, and I would expect the plaque to be there, and that it's not. All I can attribute that to is huge genetic component, probably. But also, you can't say that all the plant-based nutrition I've been consuming, which I would say I'm about 65% of my daily intakes from plants. Maybe more, maybe a little more. Every day, never missing a beat. And it's been that way for over a year. Been that way for probably close to 2 years now. And then the L-arginine supplementation. So these are the only straws I can pull from to try and come up with an explanation for why a guy that ate the way that I ate for so many years of my life don't have any plaque. Doesn't have any plaque buildup. So take from that what you will. And of course you can't discount that genetic component. Maybe I'm not predisposed to building plaque easily. But at the time, I certainly wouldn't change my, I wouldn't say, well, it was all genetics, so I don't need these plants, because literally I feel better. When I get up in the morning, and Val's been an awesome influence because she's huge into it. Huge. She doesn't eat meat at all. There's all kinds of stuff she doesn't eat. She doesn't eat dairy. She doesn't eat meat. She minimum sugar.
That's my weakness.
Or it's a weakness, she says, but very little sugar. So she's into more of this more well-rounded approach to nutrition, and more of a. I gotta say that it's more. I'm gonna call it more of an ecological approach, not only because you're not killing off other creatures, but you're drawing health and welfare from the earth. So I think it's more of a circular thing. It's a completed circle, I think. Makes sense to me. And another thing that I only have one video up, and it wasn't well received, so I didn't make any more, is that we purposely farm plants, and the plants that we were fortunate enough to already have growing here, they have many medical uses and utilitarian uses, and all, many different things. You can get so many uses out of just one plant, out of one tree, out of one, all this kind of stuff. It's just insane what you can do. You can literally, we got that yucca plant out there. You can literally sew a tear in a piece of clothing from a yucca plant. You got the needle and the thread right there. You can wash your hands, they lather up. You can, just there's so much you can do with just any one plant, and it's all just about seeking the knowledge out, which is readily available today on all topics basically, and just having fun, going outside and looking at what's there, and taking notice of the world around you. Like I was saying, you got to have those blinders off. Well, when you're out, I'm out in the woods, I'm looking at what plants are around me. What do I have access to? I mean, it's just incredible. Often cases, stuff like nature provides, where you'll find poison ivy in the ground, and growing right beside along of it is the cure for it, or the defense for it. I mean, it's, if you, like the walnut trees we have, different parts of the walnut tree, you can make a concoction or,
Iodine.
yeah, well, you have iodine, you have all these things in it, but you can also, if you're constipated, you can relieve constipation from that walnut tree. And if you have diarrhea, you can put a stop to that with that walnut tree. So same tree, same source. But if you don't know any of these things, and you haven't made yourself aware of the world around you that you live in, I focus on people. Take the blinders off and notice our connection to people. But, excuse me, our connection runs much deeper than that. We're connected to the earth. We're connected to the sky. We're connected to the plants. And it all comes together. I talk about this crash dive on our sperm count the past 40 years and our test levels. It's all the same thing. It's the damage we're inflicting upon our ecological system. We're part of that system, no matter how smart we think we are, how intelligent we are, how presumptuous we are, how arrogant we are. We're part of that system, and there's no getting away from that. And what we inflict on our world here, in this circle, the more damage and more breaks we try to, inflict upon it, we will suffer in the long run. We're suffering now. People just have those blinders on, don't know it. So I don't know. I would say, I was told I have a very strong, healthy heart, and that none of the symptoms I was experiencing that took me to the hospital was my heart. I am not so sure about that. I still think it was my heart. I still think it was my platelet count, red blood cells up too high, even though they don't think it was overly, it didn't impress upon them that it's an urgent thing. It's so high, it's dangerous. But I think it was high enough that my body didn't like it. And probably if I didn't have such a healthy heart, maybe it would have killed me. I don't know. But I'm not going to try and keep rolling the dice. And then, we'll never know. You still drop dead tomorrow. Or right now filming this video. Who knows? You don't know. You don't know. But I'm certainly not going to ignore a huge warning like that. Back in 06 or 07 when I felt that stabbing in my chest when I was benching, and I just kept benching. It never occurred to me, really never occurred to me, that it actually was a genuine heart attack. I thought it was a spasm, cramp. It was a cramp, it was my heart cramping. Now, had I known that, if somebody had said to me long ago, hey, we noticed on your EKG you had a heart attack some time back. Do you remember any kind of incident? I would have thought about that, and right away, that's the only incident, and I would have been on a different course already. So I don't know. Anyway, like I said, it is what it is. I'm gonna say, that if you want to live a well-rounded and healthy life, you want to be fit well-roundedly, then you need to pay attention to what you're consuming, and plants are the way to go. I'm not going to get into ethics as far as killing other animals and all this, because I'm not going to shit you. I'm going to sit here and tell you honest God's truth. If it came down to end of the world starvation scenario, I'm going to kill anything that moves if I need to eat, and I'm going to eat it. If it's edible and I think I can eat it, I'm going to kill it. I'm not going to feel great about it, but if it's me survive by killing this animal, or me starve, I'll kill the animal. But then on the other hand, I know how to eat from the land. I know what plants I can eat. So I don't really see that would be a huge thing. I mean, I might want to probably have some animal protein. I'm still a big believer in animal protein, right or wrong. So I might want to still get some animal protein occasionally, but I can get by largely on what's on the land, what's on under the ground, what's above the ground, what's growing from the dirt. And I don't have any. I'm not a killer. I'm not somebody that, like I said, I don't hunt. I haven't hunted since I was probably. I would say it's been about 20 years. No, it's probably been 25 years since I've been hunting. and I didn't kill anything then, that time. So, and the reason is just, I just don't have it. When I see deer, we see them here all the time, see a lot of wildlife here. When I see them, I'm more, I think they're enchanting. I find them more curious, and they seem so innocent, and they're truly living as freely as they can, as freely as man will allow. You know, with all the encroachment, I would say that they're just such a superior impression upon me when I see them about that they are really living a life. They're really living. But I think man has definitely encroached out here. You know, they're plentiful, probably too plentiful. I understand. You know, call the herd. I have friends that are hunters. We give meat, fish, you know, deer meat to people that are hungry and don't have any food. We have several people among us that are avid hunters, and they have no problem with killing, you know, as many deer as they can see, and yeah, and it's a blessing that people that are going hungry can't feed their families. They have this meat, or they have fish. So it is what it is. But myself personally, I don't eat it, and I'm not gonna kill anything. Just not gonna kill anything. In fact, there are people that have wronged me, you know, that would be a more righteous target of any kind of aggression than a deer, you know, or an innocent animal just going about his own business in his own environment, truly trying to live in harmony with his world. Who are we to, you know, the way we live? But that's my personal thing. I'm not saying anything negative to any of you guys. Like I said, one of my very, very best friends is an avid hunter, and I'm not saying, you know, for him, from his perspective, he doesn't see it the way that I see it. So I'm not offended. You know, it's different things for different people, all right? Everything's not for everybody. That, you learn that in first grade. You know, hey, teacher, Sarah's got a candy and I don't have one. You know, you learn in first grade. Everything ain't for everybody. Just because you tell Sarah, you're not going to get a piece of candy for that. You know what I'm saying? There's still people that are adults that don't know that. Or they know it and ignore it. Don't want to accept it, so they're living a delusion until the end. But, you know, if you're a hunter, that's your thing. Hey, whatever, do your thing. Could be a lot worse things in my book you could be doing. But it's not right for me because I feel I'm aware. I feel I'm conscious of it, of the impact and what I'm actually doing, and it's wrong for me. That's all I'm saying. Not saying anything negative about anybody else. No way. Like I said, one of my very, very best friends is an avid hunter and sportsman. You know, if he can look down that barrel, or he can look through that scope, pull that trigger, and take that life, you know, again and again, and celebrate that, then, you know, that's how he's built. I can't. It doesn't mean I'm not capable of doing bad things. We're all capable of doing bad things. You know, it's that, to me, it would be a bad thing, and so I choose not to do it. Anyway, that's it. So I don't know. Arteries nice and clear. Is it all the vegetable matter I've been consuming? Is it the l-arginine supplementation? Or is it purely a genetic component or influence? I think it's most likely all these things contribute something positive. So you make of it what you will.